Hello everyone, and this is my review on the Star Trek pilot, The Cage. In 1964, a television film was made as a pilot for a new science fiction TV series. It starred the late Jeffrey Hunter, and in the guest role as his leading lady, an actress called Susan Oliver. It was written and created by Gene Roddenberry. The title was called Star Trek, and from that moment on, the television legend had been born. From the beginning, it looked very different to what had been seen on television before. It was unique because of the impressive sets that were built for the pilot entitled The Cage. Jeffrey Hunter's portrayal of Captain Christopher Pike is very different to that of William Shatner as Captain Kirk, who would end up being the star of the show. The bridge on the USS Enterprise in this pilot episode is a much more impressive set than the later one that was built and used in the regular series. Also, the transport room and conference room are sets different to what was finally used when Star Trek went into production as a full-time TV series. In my opinion, these sets on this version of the Enterprise that are used in this pilot episode are much better. But the uniforms worn by the crew are not as good as the ones that the regular cast members wore in the regular series of Star Trek. Even though it's set in the 23rd century, there's still that strong mid-1960s feeling within it. The relationship between Captain Pike and the ship's Dr. Philip Boyce is the same as Captain Kirk and Dr. McCoy, which makes a very interesting comparison with various episodes of Star Trek. In my opinion, Dr. Boyce has got Dr. McCoy written all over him. Plus, the young female yeoman, played by Laurel Goodwin, has the same attraction towards Captain Pike as did yeoman Janice Rand had towards Captain Kirk in Season 1 of Star Trek. The environment and the landscape of Talos IV, the alien planet in which the story is set, has a colourful but frightening and eerie look about it. You get the feeling that it is an evil place and that you don't feel safe being on the planet. The sound effects used on Talos IV bear a strong resemblance to Neptune, the mystic from Holst's The Planets. The sets used for the aliens' underground city, like the surface of their planet, has got an eerie environment about it. The corridors of the city have a beautiful look about them, which makes the whole world of Talos IV have a classy look about it. When the Enterprise crew search and find the survivors on Talos IV, it reminds me of the film Ice Station Zebra, when the submarine crew search and find the survivors at the North Pole. In this pilot episode, there is the sexy, sassy woman who leads Pike into a trap. That would always be a recurring theme in Star Trek when Kirk would find himself in the same situation, even if the woman would be from Earth, another planet, or from Starfleet itself. The aliens' makeup is so good that it makes them look frightening and sinister. But Hollywood since the 1930s have always created brilliant makeup for horror and science fiction films. Leonard Nimoy's performance as Mr. Spock is not as good as it was in later episodes of Star Trek. It is very wooden, plus he doesn't say or do much. It makes his characterization of Spock boring. The story for this pilot episode is about the power and danger of illusion and how Captain Pike has to use mind over matter to defeat his captives. In the end, he is able to separate reality from fantasy and eventually defeat his jailers. What fascinates me about this Star Trek episode is so much of it went into the regular series and the various spin-offs and films that have been made ever since. Even with the new series of Star Trek films that are being produced now in the 21st century. Gene Roddenberry is dead, but his legacy lives on.